Good morning. Ty Pinkney here. I am glad that you could be with me this morning. I want to share with you. But first and foremost, I hope you started your day off well. I hope you feel energized and ready to take on this day. I wanted to talk this morning because, I'm faced with adversity. This is a period in my life. It's a transitional period where it's kind of time for me to pick up the bat and swing. And, I've already been up to the plate and I've swung and I've missed. I've struck out, right? And that's kind of what life does to us sometimes. Sometimes life will throw a curveball. We go up to the plate, and granted, we've got to be prepared for whatever it is that life throws at us. But sometimes life will come up with a curveball, and it's not your average curveball. This time it's something different than what you've ever experienced. And for me, that's pretty much where I am right now. So a lot of adversity in front of me. But what I will say, though, is in this adversity, throughout this period of adversity, there is empowerment. There is definitely empowerment because realistically, I can take the angle of giving up, shutting down, throwing in the towel, but I refuse to do that. I will not do that. Okay. One, because I'm a go-getter. I'm a mover. I'm a shaker. I'm going to make something happen, period. That's just how it is. But one of the things I think that's really important to note is that this is a great opportunity to change, right? To reinvent myself, because I can continue to do the things that are not working, but what's going to happen is they're going to continue to not work. So that's not something that I think is in my best interest or the best interest of my family. So rather, what I've done is I've put together some commitments, some affirmations, some things that I plan to stick to. Some of them people might think are lofty, say, wow, that's a lot. At the same time, it's a matter of how I manage my time and where my focus is and whether or not I focus on things that add value. So I've got this book that I found. It's a pretty neat book, too, because it's got some interesting stuff in the front here that I think people should look at, some motivational stuff, things to inspire you. Take your time, take chances, believe in your power, believe in possibility, do something creative every day. Do what makes your heart sing, inspire others, inspire yourself. I found this over at the local Target, Ecolo World Traveler, www.eccololtd.com. It's pretty neat too. It's pretty neat. So, I don't know the company. I'm not with the company or whatever the case. But I've actually had it for a really long time, and I'm very protective of the pages, which is really, really weird. So, in other words, I tend not to put things in here to waste the pages. I spent $5 for it. And I've actually had it for years. What's interesting is when you look inside the pages, the stuff that I have in here, it's all valuable stuff. So I don't want this video to be long, but I do want to go over it. Some of the stuff in here is notes on things that I intend to write about. As I have the book that's coming out pretty soon here, which is actually going to be one of my first books. And I have a goal with regards to writing a certain number of books that really can help people out. And then even with me doing these videos, I'm doing these videos because I want to help as many people out. And hopefully the experiences that I have as I grow, as I change, as I help other people, the way I've helped other people before, hopefully I'm able to help even more people. So it's one thing to help them in a small company or even in a large corporation. However, we're talking people who are out there who are going through things or having issues that they're having difficulty getting through. If there's some way that I can help all of those individuals get through those things, then I want to do that. And we're talking worldwide, nationwide, wherever this goes. If it helps you, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be a part of your journey. So at the beginning of this, some notes, I was watching something. Now, mind you, this particular part that I'm going to read, I didn't create it. It's notes that I took to give me some inspiration into some research that I intend to do with regards to the Olympic brain. My first note was the Olympic brain is not time or object oriented. That's huge to me. So I'm getting to understand the way we think, our subconscious and things like that. Can't tell the brain, the Olympic brain, can't tell the difference between itself and others. This is again something that I'm gonna do some research on and talk about later. The Olympic brain has no sense of past, present, or future. The Olympic brain, okay, that timeless, objectless place in the brain receives what I'm giving. So what I was writing on that, it had to do with, when we make affirmations or when we say things, and when I go into something else down here, you'll see the brain does not know if it's going out or coming in. So you think about negativity, when you speak negativity or when you verbalize negativity, what it was talking about was that the brain does not know, or the subconscious does not know that's being directed to someone else, right? It doesn't know that it's going out to someone else. The brain, once you verbalize it, the brain cannot decipher that. Instead, it is as if you are putting that out on you. So when you speak negativity, you're speaking negativity to yourself. Even if that person is in front of you, when you speak it, you're also speaking that to yourself, because your brain does not know the difference between whether it's going out or coming in. Something to research. And whether or not it's true, for me, it stuck with me because it made me think about those, think about self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Or, I knew a guy who, everything that came out of his mouth was negative. Everything that came out of his mouth revolved around violence and hate and all these different things. And this is him growing up. That guy is in jail now. Like, he's been in and out of jail. His entire adult life, he's been in and out of jail. More so in jail, and he's been in situations where he's being shot at, or he's been in these outrageous fights with police and all kinds of stuff. Now, mind you, I don't even remember how long ago it's been since I've seen him. However, I talk to his brother from time to time, and his brother kind of lets me know. I just remember growing up, that was his life. What was sad was everybody around him would say the same things about him, and they would basically put that into his head. Sadly enough, those people lived in that same environment, so they ended up having some of that trickle into their life as well. So it was kind of like you're speaking that into that person's life, but you're also speaking it into your life. So how the people dealt with it, how the people responded to it, he responded to it in a more negative way than they responded to it being in their lives. So they were able to probably control it a little bit more, so it didn't go as far as it went with him. Whereas with him, he never learned how to deal with that. He never learned how to bounce back from that. So he just kind of went on a downward spiral in life and has been there the entire time, which is really sad. If you criticize others, your brain doesn't know you're criticizing them. It receives it as if it's self-directed. So that was something that I wrote too, which was really, really huge. Okay, so let's get into some of the commitments and some of the affirmations and things that I wrote for myself. And these are the things that I said, you're probably going to say, wow, this is a little intense. But as I go through the list, you'll see that some of it starts to make sense. And I'm just going to read through them because, like I said, I don't want the video to be too long. I will eliminate sugar from my diet. I will listen to 365 audiobooks. I will meditate daily. I will exercise 5 times per week for 1 hour or more. I will eliminate unnecessary distractions from my life. I will only do things that add value. That's a huge one for me. That's a really big one. I will only focus on things that add value. So check that out, right? Look at the difference. I will only do things that add value. The next one was I will only focus on things that add value, right? There's a difference there. There's a huge difference. I will keep my area clean and organized. I will carry a pen and pad and write down my ideas. Huge, okay? If you're not doing that, do that. Because you think of things at the spur of the moment, then you've been given a gift. Write that gift down so you can come back to it and you can make it happen. You can bring it to life. When you bring it to life, it is yours. You own it, but you own it to share it. Give it out to the world for other people to experience that piece of you, to have that piece of you. And don't be afraid. Don't let other people stop you from getting there, because that happens a lot. And I'm a victim of that too. I worry about what other people think a lot of times. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't do it as much. You know what I mean? And that's one of those things where we all have personal accountability. And so that's one of those things for me where it's like, I worry about my family and this, that, or the other. Or what is that person going to think? Or who gives a damn, right? Because none of those people are going to the grave with me. They're not. None of those people are going to the grave with me. Okay? None of them. When it's time to pay bills, I've not seen any of them knocking on the doors to drop their deposit off. Give me a break. It doesn't happen. Okay? It doesn't happen. In this time of adversity, when you're friends, if I have friends who are suffering through adversity, and those friends could tell you, I'll reach out to them, and try to any way I can help, right? In my previous video, I talked about some friends that we think are friends are actually not friends, right? They're associates. They're people that we associate with, and we thought they were friends. It's not until you're going through something and those people are not even there to knock on the door or to do whatever, do you realize that they're not friends, okay? I will make my deposits be greater than my debits, because I will make more and spend less. That is not just financial, by the way. I will always tell the truth, okay? Because sometimes we protect people's feelings. Sometimes we think that we're going to hurt people's feelings by telling them what they need to hear. So instead we tell them what they want to hear. And telling them what they want to hear, that does not help them. It doesn't help them. A previous boss of mine, she told me, she always told me, Ty, and it had nothing to do with work, right? It had to do with relationships. We were having a conversation about relationships, and she was just saying, and male-female relationships, right? Marital relationships, whatever the case may be. She was saying that sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That is so very, very true, especially in this case when we're going to always tell the truth, because people's feelings might get hurt, but we might need to also be the one who's different than everybody else. We may need to be the only one. We may be the only one who tells the truth, and everybody else just kind of makes them feel good. If you lose that person because you told them the truth, here's what I'll tell you. Don't be angry with them if they walk away. Don't be angry at them if they walk away from you. Give them time to process what you said, because when they realize you were the only one who told them the truth, they will come back to you and they'll apologize. They'll apologize and they'll thank you and they'll appreciate you that much more. Okay? I will be objective. I will have an open mind. I will let go of stinking thinking. Listen, I grew up in a very bad environment. Primarily because of the so-called father figure. He really wasn't a father figure. It was just abuse. I mean, it was just a guy who was there who was abused. He was a womanizer. He was a child molester. All the above. I put it out there how it is. This guy, he made life a living hell. I became emancipated early. So I have this book coming out pretty soon. I have two. Next, I have another one that's in line to come out after that one. The third book will go into, either the third or the fourth book will go into that. I would go through counseling with librarian, and there was a librarian in the counseling that I was in, and we do those things where we talk. And yes, the brother went through counseling because I had to break the cycle. I wasn't gonna be like that guy, so I sat and you tell your story and you go over areas so you can get through, because I suffered with PTSD because of what I went through. And she was a librarian. She's been in the library for like 30-something years, and she's really big on books and things and reading and stuff. And she said, "You are doing the world an injustice if you do not write your story in a book. And this is, I mean, she's bawling in tears and she's crying, and it was a really emotional setting. Everybody was crying, and it was a powerful moment. And this was several years ago. I didn't do it. You know, I wanted to write it before, because writing was something that's always been a gift for me ever since I was a child. I've been very artistic and very creative. So that book, it's going to hurt a lot of people, because there are a lot of people in my family who there's a lot of stuff that they don't know that they're going to find out, and they're going to start to understand. Maybe they will start to understand things, maybe they won't. But again, it goes back to, am I writing it for them, or am I writing it for me to help others? I choose the latter. It's not for them, right? Because realistically, as you read in the book, I reached out to people for help when I was, you know, nose broke, bleeding, face scarred up. I mean, I don't want to get into the details, but man. So I will let go of stinking thinking. The reason so that environment in a lot of the horrible situations and things like that, and the up and down and things like that, and when you rely on people and they let you down, and all of the letdown in life gave me a token to have stinking thinking whenever I decided to. Now I will say that that's not a big thing for me, but I have my moments because I'm human. So I work really, really hard. Personal accountability, like I said before. It's all about personal accountability. It's all about knowing when, how, or knowing what triggers the stinking thinking, and being able to, in that moment, redirect my thoughts, right? Figure out what that trigger is, because it's there, okay? And then knowing how to redirect my thoughts to think positive, and then also to go through, to quickly kind of go through a cost-benefit analysis, determine whether or not this is something, you know, there is a gray area there. It's not black and white. Is this real? Is it something made up? Does it have to be this way? Whatever the case may be, but to go through it and to be able to go through it like this, okay? It's a life-changing experience, going through the counseling and learning about myself. But let go of stinking thinking. If that's who you are, if that's where you are in life, let it go, because it's hindering you. And trust me, I know, I'm going to say this, I am a victim, or I have been a victim of stinking thinking. I say a victim because I think it's both external and internal, right? I think you have external influences that impact your internal. It could be you growing up or whatever the case may be. But so I guess you could be a victim. You could also be the subject of the stinking thinking. I will make my daily routine focus on and generate money. When I say money, wealth. Generate money. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. I will develop prosperity consciousness. Huge. You have to think it. You have to foresee it. You have to envision it. You have to make it real. I will let go of stinking thinking. I already said that. So I said I will develop prosperity consciousness. Develop prosperity consciousness. I will let go of and unlearn poverty consciousness. So I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I don't think a lot of people are, and it's easy to say that. I think it's even easier to become comfortable in or complacent in a way of life that is not geared toward creating wealth. The work involved in generating wealth, creating multiple streams of income, alleviating distractions from your life, taking out those things that are in actuality causing you to sort of fall back in life, right? If you consider the number of people in the world, and you consider that there are problems out there, all right? It's almost if you go downtown somewhere or wherever your corporate business district is, right? If you go to where that place is and you look at the buildings, especially if there are high rises, count the number of windows on the high rises. If you count the number of windows on the high rises, at some point you're going to get a little bit exhausted depending upon how many buildings there are there. So for instance, if I went downtown Los Angeles, or if I was in New York or somewhere, one of the metropolitan cities where there are very large buildings, right? And you start to count the windows. You count the glass, rather. Go to Dubai. Count the glass. Count the glass. Think of each one of those squares, rectangles, whatever, as a problem. Okay? On the other side of that glass, there are people who are trying to figure this problem out, or they're suffering because they can't work through this problem. Now, all of the windows are problems. On the other side of those problems, there are millions of people waiting for someone to help them figure out that particular problem. So here I have this huge map, right? This particular square, that right there is a problem. On the other side of that, there's so many people waiting on me to figure out this particular problem. Now check this out. If I point here and I go this way, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 problems. That is 12 problems. So if I were to put a million people behind each one of those problems, that's 12 million people. I figure out that one problem and I market it to those people, right? Or I promote it, or I send it out to those people. Or I put it somewhere, just like I'm doing this right now. I put it somewhere for people to find the solution to this problem because I spent the time here. Do you think those people who really want to solve that problem that you figured out would invest in the solution that you've created? I think they would. Because then they can move on to other areas of life. Or maybe you figured out the one thing in life that they couldn't figure out. Now life is grand. That's great. But you price it right. You make it affordable. At the same time, remember its value. It's very, very valuable. Okay? It's valuable to those people. And it's equally as valuable to you. So as you share that solution, you price it right. I'm not telling you to gouge people. I'm not telling you not to gouge people either. That's really, I guess, an integrity thing on you as it relates to who you are in business. And, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. But, you know, you price it right. Make it affordable for people. And then you promote it. You push it. You get it out in front of them. Okay? So it's there. It's definitely there, and that's one of those ways where you just kind of you start doing things to break free from that poverty consciousness, and you start to think, you know, ways to make money, ways to grow, you know, solutions to problems create opportunity. When you have problems, rather, create opportunity. Solutions create profitability. Okay, I will demand the abundant. I will not, or rather, I won't talk about lack. I won't focus on lack. Okay? Very important. I also put a note in here that says, I don't talk about lack. And I don't focus on lack. All right? I love what I do for my daily work. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And I got to be honest with you, I get kicked in the butt a lot. I get kicked in the butt. I fall flat on my face. It hurts. I stress out sometimes. I mean, I guess stressing out would not be a good way of saying that, because I don't think I stress out. You know, I think I get to where I do get nervous sometimes, but I don't know if stressing out would be the right term. But I do. I fall. Listen, I fall flat on my face sometimes. I'll be honest with you. I have fallen, pow, and it has hurt. I have fallen flat on my face. But one of the things that I do is I get up, because I get up and I fight, because there's There's only one way to learn, right? There's only one way to learn. Okay, you can go to school, you can read all the books you want to read. It doesn't mean that you're going to come out and you're going to be this great business person. You know, maybe you got a network, maybe you got some friends that will help, but you know, okay, cool. You had a network and you had some friends that help. The books might have aided that, but the books is not what made you that great business person. Okay, sometimes you got to get out there. I mean, there are people that I know who have went to school, got an MBA. They couldn't run a business if you taped it to them or if you stitched it to their body. They couldn't run a business if they were towing it. It's insane, right? But they know that too. So it's not like, you know, we're talking about something that's a surprise here. They know it too. And as a result of knowing this, they went ahead on to other business environments and they've excelled. So they've been able to take what they've learned into other industries and do an amazing job. So that does definitely happen there. Okay. So I will create multiple sources of income, not more jobs. Let me tell you something. Work. You have no life. I am a firm believer that we were not put here to slave for someone else all the time and not enjoy life. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people who love their job and they love what they do. However, this planet is huge. You have done an injustice to every generation after you. You have done an injustice to your entire lineage. If you stay in this one place, I get it. Some of society is set up to keep certain people, I think, in certain areas and things like that, and which is sad. And again, that's another conversation in and of itself. But the planet is huge. There are so many different cultures. There is so much untapped land. There are so many things that have been protected where it's in view for you to see that you can't touch. But because it's in view for you to see that you can go over there. I mean, we look at this. There's so much. There's so much. Not to say, I mean, I've traveled in here. You know, I've traveled, but I need to go farther. You need to go farther. We need to be over here. We need to experience all of this, right? We need to experience all of this. We need to experience areas that you never thought about. Why stay in one place? Why stay in one place? Go out, get cultured, experience other cultures, right? Learn different languages, taste different foods, find out why this culture is better than that culture. Because you might find out that none of them are better than the other. They just do things differently, right? Learn to interact with other people who are not from where you're from, who speak a different language, those types of things. I look at all these flags and they represent so much diversity to me. And for me, I think it's very, very important that we create multiple sources of income so that we can have the freedom to get out, to travel, take your family and take off, because you have these sources of income there that allow you to do that. I will focus on providing service to others. Right now, in this very moment, this is what I am doing. I realize that we're not going to get through everything, so we'll just focus on this first page. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll go to the next page, or maybe later we'll go to the next page. But right now, we'll focus on this page. I am here because I want to help others. Listen, right now, I'm in our office. In a moment, I'm going to go out of the office. When I go out of the office, I'm going to go get my workout in. I'm going to get my workout in, and after I get my workout in, I'm going to get cleaned up. After I get cleaned up, I have a training video that I'm doing that's going to come out. Now, this video is for it's a training program. It's not just a video; it's a training program. So it's not going to be necessarily available here on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere social media. It's going to be a package thing that's going to also go along with the book. So something great for those individuals who are in personal training. It's on a very high level. So keep in mind, I've been doing this since '93. So I've been, in the fitness industry since '93, along with working for other corporations and things like that and growing. So I've kind of got the best of both worlds. I'm going to show people how to put that together to make them successful. I think that that's something that's missing. I'm over here at the university, and last week, and in this, meeting, in this setting with all these future personal trainers, I'm going over how, yes, indeed, knowing the sciences is huge, but there are some components that you're not being taught here that you're not going to be taught at other companies as well. Other fitness companies as well, because it just does not exist. So what happens is those trainers fall short in that area, and I'm very good in that area, and that's something that not only was I good in corporate America with that, I was also good with it here in personal training, in the gym setting, in the fitness setting as well, and with everything, pretty much with everything that I do. I just get it, and I understand it, and I've pushed it. I've trained it. I've developed others in this area. So I think it's time for me to share it. So again, I will focus on providing service to others, doing it in my gym, doing it here with you, doing it in the training programs that I'm putting together, doing it in the books that I'm writing. It's all about helping other people. I am not here to just service myself. I don't think anybody is here for ourselves. I think that in reality, we are all one big family on this one big planet. That's how I feel. Focus on providing service to others. I will decide how much money I want. You have to make a determination on the type of money you want to make. Okay? And you have to go after it. What's interesting is the things that I'm doing now, like this right here. As a kid, I was already there. A lot of the stuff that I'm writing here, I was already there as a kid. I started early as an entrepreneur, and it was for me a way to make money for myself. I was a very independent kid. I wanted to get out on my own, do my own thing. So I would do a lot of this stuff. I would, for ladies, older ladies. I was a kid. Here I am in junior high school, and I taught myself how to do oil changes, how to change brakes, how to do tune-ups on cars. I taught myself how to detail vehicles. I was cutting lawns. I was really doing some serious landscaping and cleaning up some lawns. I learned how to cut hair, so I was like the neighborhood barber. You name it. There was so many things. I was painting for people, painting in their houses, things like that. People started wearing clothes where they had the artistic work on the clothes, so I started doing that. And I was producing music and making beats and doing shows. I was really, really active early on with just using the talents and the gifts that I had. And as I got older and I got into corporate America, things kind of came to me very easy. The leadership piece came to me early because it did come to me early as a kid. Here I am cutting lawns and doing these things where I got these other kids who want to learn, so they're asking me to teach them. I started training. So I started training in '93, right? So that's when I actually started working in the field. I actually started training before that because I was an athlete and I was really, really fast. But there were guys who were faster than me, and I wanted to be the fastest. Okay? So I would train myself. I would do things that, when you talk about plyometrics, I didn't know the term plyometrics, but I was doing plyometrics already. There were the speed and agility training. I didn't know how to, categorize it or name it or whatever. I just did the stuff. A lot of the stuff that they do today, I had already been doing it. So since I'm doing it already, other kids are watching me. And the other kids are watching me do it, and they're just like, hey, man, can you teach me? Yeah, I'll teach you. Let's roll. You just come follow me. So that's exactly what I did. I would go and I would teach these kids, and really it was more of a thing where, hey, you're working out with me, and when I saw them, not getting their knees up, they're not dorsiflexing, they're not driving, they're not, whatever it was, their stride length wasn't open, I would focus on it. I would focus on it. If I saw that there were things that they couldn't do or that they shouldn't do from a safety standpoint, then I would say, hey, probably not a good idea to do this. Instead, let's modify it and do this, things like that. So, I knew, but at the same time, I knew my value. So, instead of, hey, just pay me a little bit here, pay me a little bit there, because what happens with that is you get somebody pay you $3, $5, $10 back in. I would know, hey, this is how much I want. I want $18, or I want $22, or I want $25, or whatever the case may be. You want me to do the artwork on your clothes? Cool. Top, bottom, $75. As a kid, I don't know where the money is coming from them. But believe it or not, I had kids coming with $75 all the time. It was crazy. So I would do a lot of different things. You want an oil change? Cool, I'll do an oil change, no problem. Give me $25. Oil change, $25. They bought all the stuff. I got $25 for my labor. It really didn't take me any time, maybe about 20, 30 minutes, right? And that was like the slow period. I did all kinds of things. So as I got older and I got into corporate America, I knew that I wanted a six-figure income. So I went after a six-figure income. And I got a six-figure income. That was what I wanted. And that was what I fought for. And I fought really, really hard. Okay. When it came time to negotiate my salaries, where the max was 10%, I went after the max. I got the max. So I didn't always get it, but to get to where, different positions have a certain amount of equity in them. So, if you come in at the mid-range, then the company has some equity there in terms of when it comes time to give you your merit increase or whatever, they go, they have somewhere where they can work. Well, for me, it's like, great, you have that, but I don't plan on staying in this position, so I'm going to eat that equity up right away. Why am I going to eat that equity up? Because let's go back and let's look at all of my stats. Let's look at my fact sheet for what I've done over the course of this period, these 18 months or whatever. Let's look at what I've done there. So when I come to the table, you can best believe I put forth every effort possible to perform at the highest level, but at the same time to carry my team along who's also performing. So at the same time, I'm not just discussing me, I'm discussing everybody else that I've brought along, not just my staff, but my mentees as well. What have I done with my mentees for my mentees to grow? How many people have I promoted? How many people have I promoted? How many people have I promoted to my position? Or have I helped promote to my position that I mentored? How many people who were in these lower positions or whatever have I got promoted? Okay, that's huge. That's a huge one right there. So again, it's not always about me. At the end, when I'm sitting down talking about negotiating my salary, I'm going to talk about everybody that I've helped. Because when I go to that next position, I'm going to be helping even more people than I helped this time. I'm going to help even more. So remember, everything I've done to get to this one place, it's not going to work for me to get to the next place. I've got to go even farther. I've got to do even more. I can't just continue to do the same old boring thing and expect for things to change or things to get better. The system works great, but the system has to be altered. It has to be advanced. It has to be upgraded in order to go to the next level. When you get to the next level, it needs to be upgraded. And as you continue to grow, you have to grow as well. And those people that you've been bringing along, they should continue to grow as well, unless they choose to go elsewhere or they choose to do something differently. Lastly, for this video, for this first page, I have a dream and I will chase it like a ferocious lion. I don't know how to end this. I didn't expect that. I have a dream and I will chase it like a ferocious lion. If I detail to you right now the things, the goals that I've written down, the goals that I've set for myself, right? And these are new goals. See, I've achieved several goals, right? I wanted a six-figure income. I got it. I wanted to open a gym. I did it. I wanted my own fitness company. I've opened up three. I wanted to write my first book. It's on its way. Actually, the book is pretty much done. Right now, I'm just focused on the cover. Right, finishing up the cover, not focused on finishing up the cover, rather. Okay, it's been edited, everything. Okay, let's see, what else? There are a bunch of other goals that I have. I wish I had the other. So there's another journal. So we have this one, okay, but I have another one that has my goals in there. So there are some on there that I really can't talk about, but those are the ones that I've set that are coming out. So I've got some other stuff coming down the pipeline that I'm really focused on and I'm really excited. I'm like really pumped about. Here's what's the big deal about them all. And I'm excited because, again, I will always say, for me, developing others is huge. That is what I am really, really big on. I want to help you, right? I want to help you. Here's the deal though. You got to be willing to help yourself. I can't help you if you won't help you. If you look for me, if I give you the keys to the door and you never walk in, that's not on me. If I give you the keys to the door and you never walk in, that's not on me. I don't really. How does the saying go? You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink. It's the truth. Right? A person who makes an excuse all the time for why they can't do something. A person who constantly sees it not happening. And don't get me wrong. So this is okay. This is my disclaimer. You got to be smart. You do. Okay. You can't go take a job, but where, hey, depending on where you are, minimum wage went up to $15 an hour, I think, for a lot of areas. Okay. So I'm going to speak to people. Okay. Now, and hopefully, maybe this resonates with you. Maybe it doesn't, because, it's tough. It's tough to hear something sometimes from a guy who, okay, you went and got this 6-figure salary, but then you hear at the same time, you're talking to people who are not there. I'm talking to people because it's real and because I have been there, right? And I fought to get out of there. So when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you from experience. Listen to me. A job says we're going to give you $18, $25 an hour. But when you go through and you look at it, they want you to use your own car. They're not going to pay you for gas, right? The taxes, you're not going to do your own taxes, right? They're going to 1099 you, so you're going to have to be responsible for your taxes. If you've never been responsible for your taxes and you don't know how to set that money aside, because saving money, investing, whatever it is not something that's a skill set of yours yet. I'm going to say yet, because you can get there. You don't have the right partnerships or accountability partner, or you don't even have the accounts set up where you can actually set that money aside. If you don't know what to do, if you don't put in all the factors involved, how much time, you know what I mean? There's a company that offers people this driving gig, okay? There are a number of them out there. So nobody can say which one is which on this one, right? And I guess that's kind of my disclaimer. But when I sat there and I looked at that, because I was watching a video, I looked at it. And I also looked at some research that was done on it, right? If you do that drive, if you do that job and you're using your car, you're going to pay for the gas. You're going to pay for the wear and tear on your vehicle. That would... right, and it could be new tires. Of course, you are naturally got to pay for your oil changes and things like that anyway, and tune up and stuff like that. Your insurance, okay, your insurance. You're using your car now for your job, so your insurance might say, "Well, wait a minute, you're using it for this. You were in an accident." The company might let you use their insurance. They might not. I did look at one where the company said, you can use our insurance if you don't have insurance. And then I'm thinking, whoa. They can use your insurance if they don't have insurance. What happens if that's disputed? Or what happens if when you're there, they tell you to present your insurance, you don't have your insurance, I got to get with the company on their insurance. And then the officer says, well, you shouldn't be driving if you don't have the insurance information to begin with. And this is your car, not their car. So your car should be insurance regardless of the fact that you're working for that company. Boom, you might have a problem going on right there. So I don't want to get into the weeds with that, but what I do want to say is you've got to consider all the factors, because what you might end up finding out is You're driving, you're hustling, you're doing all this stuff. Now, granted, I know a lot of people are doing really well from what I understand on some of these things. At the same time, I would love to see on the back end what that looks like on the back end. Like, what are you really making in the end, right? You can show us, oh, I made $2,600 this month, or I made this, that, or the other this month. All right, cool. So in terms of your taxes, how much of that did you set aside? In terms of your fuel, how much of that went to fuel, right? Because if you made $2,600 for that month and you put $700 of it on gas, what? You put $700 on gas, you still have to pay taxes. You got to go get an oil change, because just in this month alone you got to go get multiple oil changes maybe, because just in this month alone you've done over 6,000 miles. What? You're insane. Get the heck out of here. You're crazy. So you go do an oil change, what? You spend about $60, so let's say that's 120 plus your 7, so you're at 820. You made 26. Remember, you still haven't taken your taxes and all that stuff out, so it just kind of goes down, 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 down. For someone who's still not making that, but you have a vehicle that can put you in a situation where you're making some money that way, then I don't knock it at all. I don't knock it, period. The only thing that I say is be smart, right? Be smart. Don't just jump into something just to jump into it. Be smart. Make sure that what you're doing is the best situation for you, the best situation for your family. And don't sacrifice your family time. Don't sacrifice having a life. Don't sacrifice that for whether you're working for me or any employer. Don't sacrifice that for anyone. You know, have a life. Get it. Make your money. I'm with it, right? Just be sure to set time aside so you can focus on you, right? Set time aside to focus on you. Set time aside to, create multiple income streams. If you don't know how to do that, I'm, as you can see, doing that. So one thing I will do is on these videos, I'll present some things for you all to look at. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that you can get into, that you can be doing. You just got to do it, and you got to let go of a lot of things that hold you back. Sometimes family will hold you back. Sometimes a job like that will hold you back. Sometimes, certain behaviors that we have will hold you back from being successful. So keep in mind, do the things that are going to add value to your life, and focus on the things that are going to add value to your life, so that your life can begin to grow, or so that you can begin to grow in areas that, you're kind of being held back right now, and being held back because either you don't know, or because you're not taking action, or because you just kind of swept that under the rug, don't want to be a part of it, or whatever. No, that can never happen to me, or I can't go there. No, that's not the case, right? Pick up your book, right? Write down some affirmations for yourself, things that are real to you, things that apply to you, that don't apply to anyone else. When you look in the mirror, I always have this thing that I do with athletes. I mean, I do it with myself a lot, okay? I have them sit in the mirror, and it's a different type of meditation. I guess I could do some research, because there's probably something real with it. But look in the mirror and focus on you. Connect with yourself, right? Look yourself in the eye and just sit there for a while and be accountable with yourself, right? Ask yourself, are you the person who you believe you should be at this point? Are you where you want to be in your life right now? Like, really ask yourself the tough questions and examine yourself. If you're not where you feel you should be, if you're not where you want to be, examine yourself, right? Figure out what it's going to take for you to get to where you need to be, and get there. Get there. I'm sure that over time, as you do it, I mean, you can't, there's only one way to eat an elephant. That's one bite at a time. Okay? I think that's how the expression goes. I'm not biting no elephant. I'll bite something else. Okay? I'm not biting the elephant, though. I want you all to have an amazing, amazing day. Really, I want you to grow. I'm going to be here for you a little bit later. We're going to continue to grow. I'm going to share a little bit more with you from this book here. We're going to expand on the top. Once we go through this, we're going to actually expand on the topics in this book. I'm going to definitely promote my book, because I want you all to get into it. If you're a personal trainer out there, it's going to help you. If you're a business minded person and you're an entrepreneur and you want to see things through different eyes, or you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur and you want to see things through someone's eyes who jumped out there, took the risk, right? Buddy used to say, piss in the pot or get off. You know what I mean? Throw some skin in the game. So I did exactly that. I threw some skin in the game, right? The pot was there. I pissed in it. Okay. I don't really know what that expression means, but he uses it. And at the time, it made a little bit of sense to me. But hey, I think that you can do it. I really want you to have a good day. I'm going to go in here and get this workout in. I got to get that training video started. And I got to get from under these dang lights. Holy cow. I am in here hot. I bet the air is not on. The air conditioner is probably not on. Oh, well. We'll get it turned on. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you soon. I'm Ty. Bye.